seeing some areas of rotation across parts of Maryland. You want to make sure that you're taking shelter immediately. We've been tracking several tornado warnings across the state. This is the most recent one. So again, taking a look at that there, that warning goes into place at 7:30. Now, again, here's a better look at some of that rotation right around White Oak. You see the green and you see the red. That indicates objects moving toward and away from the radar, and that's what indicates that rotation. So you're not seeing the rain just yet if you are in Anne Arundel County. Parts of Howard County, you are seeing a few showers and that heavy rain starting to move in, especially around North Laurel. But you want to make sure that you're taking shelter immediately because the storms are on the way. And just to try to give you a better timeline of when we expect those storms to move in. If you're in North Laurel, 24 minutes, that's when you could expect the heaviest rain, about 25 minutes for Laurel and even South Laurel. This system is moving east-northeast around 18 miles per hour. Hail, half an inch possible in diameter. So regardless of where you are, if you are in this box, you need to find immediate shelter. We've been tracking some heavy rain with this system, and you'll notice that on the HG radar. Taking a look on our cameras, I'm not sure where that is, but heavy rain is falling. This is going to be the pattern over the next few hours as we continue to track these storms. So again, kind of showing you some of what we're seeing. So that is southern Howard County that you're seeing on the map. Heavy rain coming down there. If we do have any rotation and if it does reach the ground, you're likely not going to be able to see it because of that heavy rain. But the most important thing that you can do if you're not on the roads is to find immediate shelter. You want to find a place that is away from any windows, preferably a basement. But if you don't have a basement, a bathroom or a closet, somewhere with no windows, that is the best place to be at this time. But taking a look again at where we've got that rotation, right around White Oak and Fairland, seeing some of that rotation, but that warning does extend into Anne Arundel County, also going into Howard County as well. So if you live in North Laurel, about 26 minutes before the heaviest rain and the storms arrive, Laurel 25 minutes, the system will keep moving toward Anne Arundel County and toward Howard County over the next 30 minutes or so. We remain under a tornado watch across the rest of the area. That goes through midnight. Now, this warning is in place through 7:30, so through that time, we will guide you through what we're seeing and make sure that we are keeping you safe. You want to make sure, again, to find that safe place. But taking a look on the HG radar and where we're seeing that heavy rain, right around White Oak, up into North Laurel, and also some lightning with this system. Burtonsville, another area. Montgomery County is primarily the spot that's dealing with the heaviest rain right now. Some of that heavy rain does push into lower Howard County, and the showers getting a little bit closer to Jessup. But for you and Anne Arundel County, still you want to make sure that you are staying safe. To time out another storm system, just to give you an idea, these storms are generally moving toward the north-northeast. So a lot of the action that we've seen has been around D.C. and Virginia and even Montgomery County, but it is going to make its way toward the Baltimore metro within the next 30 minutes or so. So again, that tornado warning is in place for parts of Anne Arundel County through 7:30, Howard County, and where we're seeing that heaviest rain and the rotation, Montgomery County. A little bit of lightning with this system, a ton of heavy rain. And just to take a larger look at things, there have been several tornado warnings with this system. The first came from Virginia, still seeing a tornado warning there, but also down into lower Maryland, just outside of D.C. We've got a secondary tornado warning. This is going to be the pattern into the next few hours. As these strong storms move across the region, there could be some rotation, so you want to make sure to have multiple ways of receiving any alerts that are issued, regardless of where you are. We are under. Now we're taking a look at 95 south, and looks like we've got our storm tracker there. A little bit of rain. The heaviest, though, is still on the way. We're tracking that over the next few hours, and this is really the time when you want to stay weather alert. So now through about 11 p.m., we could be seeing the worst of things. If you will be on the roads over the next few hours, prepare for rainy conditions. Make sure again that you are driving safely and check the radar before you head out. If you do live in this box, not only is there a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning in place, some of these storms could lead to damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. There's the possibility of hail. So even if you don't notice any rotation by you, there is still that threat of heavy rain and the gusty winds and hail. All types of severe weather are possible. This goes through 7:30 again if you are just joining, taking a look at some of the timing on when we expect this system to move in. So Laurel in about 24 more minutes. Again, this system is going to last through 7:30, about 26 more minutes, and we're going to guide you through the entire storm system. But where we're seeing that radar is right around White Oak and Fairland, where you notice those areas of red and that green. That's where we see that coupling indicating some rotation. So giving you a timeline of when we'll see those storms within the next 30 minutes. If you're in Howard County or Anne Arundel County, you want to take shelter immediately. Taking a look on the roads again, and it's just messy outside with that heavy rain. Heavy rain is going to be a threat over the next several hours, and not just with these tornado warnings, but elsewhere across the state. You'll notice we've got one area right around Dayton toward Cooksville where we've got some heavy rain. Also seeing that heavy rain up toward Westminster and close to the state line. Over the next few hours, heavy rain is going to move across the state, but within that, we could have some rotation like what we're seeing for this area in the tornado warning. We could also have gusty winds and even hail. It's very important that you take this seriously and find immediate shelter if you do live in an area that's under a tornado warning or even the severe thunderstorm warning. Both of these expire at 7:30, so in about 25 more minutes, but we'll keep guiding you on what we're seeing. So we're really watching this area around White Oak for potential rotation. We're seeing the heaviest rain around Burtonsville and toward Fairland. These showers and storms are moving to the north-northeast around 18 miles per hour. There's possibly half-inch hail within these systems. So if you are not on the roads, if you're in your home, find a designated safe place, whether that is a basement or even if you don't have a bathroom, try to find a bathroom and put as many walls between you and outside as you can. Taking a look at some of those other showers and storms, because this isn't the only area of heavy rain that's going to move into the region. Also right around Hyattsville, the system approaching Laurel, that'll be there in 26 minutes. That's moving north-northeast around 29 miles per hour. So zooming out and looking at things, a ton of rain and storms across the state. These could have some rotation, and the primary threats are going to last through about 11 p.m. But we're watching this initial line. We'll also be watching this line located over Virginia. That's been leading to severe weather and even a few tornado warnings there. But in the meantime, still keeping track on this area located in Montgomery County. That's currently where we're tracking the rotation. The heavy rain starting to move into lower Howard County. Anne Arundel County also included in this warning. You're not seeing much rain just yet, but that is going to change as we keep tracking that system. So it reaches Laurel in about 18 minutes, I'd say, for Anne Arundel County. Within the next 25 minutes, you could be seeing those showers and storms and potential rotation. Going back to some of the rotation that we're seeing, looking at the velocity here, we're really watching for areas where we have that red and green coupling. That indicates rotation and tells us where objects are moving to and from the radar. Also, taking a look at another tool we have, where you've got that bright color, that bright purple, there is the potential that we may be seeing a little bit of hail. So just taking a look there, the system is quickly moving east-northeast around 18 miles per hour. But regardless of where you live, you still want to make sure you are finding your safe place and have this, just because this isn't the only storm threat that we have. We'll have more areas of heavy rain and possibly severe storms over the next several hours. We've been keeping watch on a few areas. This is just the first round of showers and storms. Another area over Virginia, we're watching that line that's been leading to a couple of tornado warnings. But in the meantime, This one goes for Howard County into Anne Arundel County and also Montgomery County, where we've got that heavy rain. So this goes through 7:30 p.m., about 22 more minutes. We'll keep watching that area. We've been seeing a little bit of rotation, especially I'm going to zoom in around the White Oak area. We've been seeing some lightning as well, some heavy rain, and that's also starting to move into parts of Prince George's County. Bowie, looking at that heavy rain, it is on its way toward Anne Arundel County. So even if you are not under a tornado warning, you still have the threat of heavy rain, damaging wind gusts, and even hail. Be sure that you're finding that safe place regardless of where you live, because there could be more tornado warnings that come later into the evening and into the night. So again, we're watching this spot extending from White Oak through about North Laurel. That's where we have the heaviest rain. However, that tornado warning includes Montgomery County, Howard County, and Anne Arundel County. Timing out where we could see, or when we could see, some of those storms and the heavy rain move in for Laurel in about the next 15 to 20 minutes. So you want to find that safe place immediately, and that's where you need to stay until this warning expires. Other areas under a severe thunderstorm warning that also goes through 7:30. There will be more severe thunderstorm warnings issued with this line and with this storm system. So it's very important that you have multiple ways of receiving any alerts that are issued. Now taking a look again on the road, seeing some traffic there, and likely because of that heavy rain. If you don't have to be on the roads over the next couple hours, stay off of them. You have the threat of heavy rain and gusty winds and even hail. With the heavy rain threat, we do have that flood watch in place. We've seen so much rain over the past few days, so it's not going to take a lot of heavy rain to lead to flooding. And when we talk about trees, they are waterlogged. With gusty winds and heavy rain, we could even see some of those knocked down. So make sure that you are staying weather alert. Again, that tornado warning goes through about 20 more minutes. However, there still could be some more warnings that are issued. We actually have several tornado warnings across the region. We've got one in Virginia, and then another area down in Prince George's County, even another tornado warning down in Virginia. So a very, very big storm system leading to impacts all across Maryland. It's very important that you stay vigilant and turn on your alerts. If you are in an area under a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, find immediate shelter. That could mean a basement. If you don't have a basement, find an interior room with no windows, like a closet or even a bathroom. That's where you want to ride out this system until these warnings expire. This tornado watch for really all of Maryland goes through midnight over the Baltimore metro. We also have that flood watch in place. Heavy rain is a threat. We're seeing that with the storm system. So even if you are under a tornado warning, you may not see that rotation just because of the heavy rain that's moving across the state. So talking about Laurel, 13 more minutes for that storm to move in, and I'd say probably about another 20 minutes before it moves into parts of Anne Arundel County. Howard County already dealing with that heavy rain, especially close to Arrowhead. These showers and storms will keep moving toward the northeast over the next few hours as we track this storm system. So taking a look again at where we could be seeing some potential rotation right around Fairland, that's where we might be picking up on that a little bit. And taking a look at our debris tracker, this lets us know if any debris is higher up in the atmosphere. So potentially seeing some of that right between Fairland and White Oak. Again, you really want to make sure that you are taking these warnings seriously and getting into your safe place. This is the second severe weather outbreak in as many weeks, and we saw what that one did. So if you are under a tornado warning, even a severe thunderstorm warning, make sure that you are finding your safe place and staying vigilant. Looking at some of the roads across the state, heavy rain, that's going to be the primary threat over the next few hours. That could lead to flooding, but there is still that threat of isolated tornadoes across the state. So far, we have not seen any damage reports, and that's for the warning in Montgomery County. That is good news, but there is still that potential for rotation. Again, this is radar indicated. We don't have anything confirmed on the ground, but there is that potential that some of these rotating storms could touch down on the ground, and that's where we see a lot of the damage occur. Heavy rain still falling across parts of Montgomery County and now into Howard County. Jessup starting to see some of that heavy rain. North Laurel also looking at that heavy rain. Anne Arundel County is under that tornado warning. Not seeing too much rain just yet, but you'll notice those showers are quickly moving in. So right around Bowie, seeing some heavy rain. Odenton in about 14 more minutes, this heavy rain is going to be in your area. 20 minutes in Severn, Glen Burnie in the next 30 minutes. Same with Elk Ridge. You will be dealing with showers and storms. And with this system, still the potential is there for a little bit of rotation. It's moving at about 31 miles per hour toward the north-northeast. Keeping watch on this area, moving toward Laurel. That's where we're seeing some of that heavy rain. Within the next 15 minutes, you can expect the showers and storms and the gusty winds. So this tornado warning running for about 17 more minutes. We will stay on air until we get through this, and we'll guide you through it. The entire severe weather event. It looks like actually another tornado warning popped up in part of West Virginia. So that line from Maryland down into Virginia, including West Virginia, that's been leading to severe weather. Once we get past this initial line around the Aspen Hill down to Fredericksburg, after that moves out the way, we'll be tracking that second line of heavy rain and storms because it has been leading to severe weather and some rotation. So again, keeping watch on this tornado warning that is in place for Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and Montgomery County. Heavy rain starting to move into Montgomery County from the south, and the next stop is Anne Arundel County. That'll see that heavy rain, the showers, and of course the thunder and the lightning. So tracking the timing again of when we could see some of that heavy rain move into parts of our region. About 15 minutes for Laurel, that second area around Bowie where we have heavy rain. That's going to approach Odenton, Severn, Glen Burnie, and Elk Ridge. With Odenton, it's the next 15 minutes. Within the next 20 minutes for Severn, and the next 25 to 30 minutes for Glen Burnie and Elk Ridge. If you have to be out and about, make sure that you're checking the radar, but you really want to find that safe place if you do live in this polygon under this tornado warning. This goes through 7:30, about 15 more minutes. But even still, even with the severe thunderstorm warnings, there is a potential of damaging wind gust and hail. A reminder that we had severe weather and tornadoes just about 2 weeks ago. So make sure that you are taking this seriously and finding that safe place. Be sure to have more than one way of receiving alerts. These will continue on into the night. So the timing for severe weather looks to be about 7 p.m. through 11 p.m. So we've got a couple more hours when we'll be tracking the showers and storms. We're looking at this bright green area around Fairland where we could be seeing some potential rotation. Okay. Again, this is radar indicated, so we're keeping watch on that and watching that.
And Jasmine, I wanted to show a couple of pictures first, give you an opportunity to regroup and reset, but Jasmine's here by herself doing all of this. It's a lot. Let you keep looking at this. I wanted to show a couple of some of our social media that's coming in, Jasmine, on X right now. This one's interesting, and if you want to comment on any of these, if you get a chance to see them, please let me know. This is coming in from Matt. This is Capital Weather near Tyson's Corner asking Jasmine if this is a tornado. I know it'll take the National Weather Service to kind of evaluate that, but hopefully nothing drops to the ground and creates any destruction. Let's look at some more stuff here. This is Washington, D.C. area is getting some intense storms. The entire DMV is, in fact. But that is an amazing cloud right there that looks really ominous. Here we see some high floodwaters here, or just waters going right now. Some folks kayaking on the water in Richmond, Virginia. Now this one's interesting here to me, Jasmine. This is wall cloud and possible brief funnel west of Harrisonburg, Virginia. So I think Harrisonburg, if I'm not mistaken, is the Virginia Tech area. That's the university down there. And this one coming in, Jasmine, lastly, from our own Scott Thuman with Sinclair Broadcast Group. Rainbow in the midst of severe storm and tornado warnings. Scott's optimistic, I'll say, Jasmine. We're going to need to get through this night before we can think about rainbows. But some really ominous clouds out there. And again, you're wondering whether any of these have dropped down to the ground, right?
Yeah, we are certainly tracking that. A lot of these have been radar indicated. and that's good. Also, with the one in Montgomery County, from emergency management, there have not been any damage reports as of yet. So that's another sign that perhaps this is still radar indicated, perhaps it hasn't touched down, but still, regardless of where you live, if you are in this polygon, you want to make sure that you are taking it seriously and finding that safe place. These storms have been producing heavy rain and lightning. The heavy rain could lead to flooding. That's been one of our primary concerns. We do have that flood watch in place through early tomorrow morning. The tornado watch goes through midnight. So throughout this time, we could have some more heavy rain, and possibly we could even see some more tornado warnings issued. Now, this is the one that includes Anne Arundel County, along with Howard County and even Prince George's County. And it looks like part of that area was trimmed off a little bit. So that's a sign that the system is moving toward the northeast. Now, heavy rain has now started to move into Anne Arundel County. 7:30 is when this warning expires. It goes for about another 12 minutes. But I want to take a larger look at what we're seeing around the region, because this is not the only area with a tornado warning. Farther south, we've got one in Prince George's County. Then we also have one down into Virginia, a couple into Virginia. So several tornado warnings have been issued across the state. We've got that one right over West Virginia. That storm system is quickly going to move toward Hagerstown as it moves to the northeast. So regardless of where you live, if you're in Maryland, you're under the threat of severe weather. This is going to last through about midnight. Showers and storms will continue off and on. Some of them could be strong, even severe. So now all of the areas under that tornado warning in that polygon have the threat of heavy rain, some rotation, lightning, even hail a possibility. Looking at the timing on when we could see that system move into parts of our area, about 12 more minutes for Laurel. However, we do expect some of that heavy rain to push towards Severn, probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes. So even if you aren't seeing rain just yet, it's on the way as we track those showers and storms. Again, this tornado warning goes through 7:30 p.m. I'm going to go back to the velocity and kind of show you what we're seeing. So that bright green is what we're watching for potential rotation. That's been the area we've been focused on. So right around Burtonsville, keeping track of that as it moves toward the northeast. So if you are in this polygon, be sure that you are staying safe and finding that safe place. That might mean a basement. If you don't have a basement, find a bathroom or a closet. The goal is to place as many walls between you and outside as possible. Find a place that does not have any windows. And looking at the roads, heavy rain continues to fall over parts of Maryland. If there is any rotation, you're likely not even going to be able to see it just because of that heavy rain. So again, the tornado watch that we have goes through midnight. The flood watch goes through early tomorrow morning. Through that point, we've got the potential for some heavy rain, and that tornado safety there is a good point. You want to stay away from all windows. Go to a safe room like a basement or any interior room without windows. You want to do that immediately, and that's where you want to stay for the entirety, not just of the tornado warning, but also for the severe thunderstorm warning. For Anne Arundel County and even Howard County, if you're not under that tornado warning, you still have that severe thunderstorm warning, and you need to take it very, very seriously, because even if you're not seeing rotation or a potential tornado, there's heavy rain that could lead to flooding, gusty winds that could result in some downed trees, and even hail is a possibility. So this goes for about another 9 more minutes, but it's likely not the only tornado warning that will be issued. Taking a larger look at things, and it's been active. The storm system has been leading to storms with some rotation, and that's why we've got tornado warnings from Virginia or West Virginia down into Virginia, and then we've got that second area of Maryland down through parts of Virginia. So we'll stay on air with you to guide you through the system, and if any more tornado warnings are issued, of course, we'll hop back on air and help you. Will guide you through those systems. But taking a look on the roadways, seeing a little bit of traffic, and it's likely in part because of that heavy rain. If you do have to go out on the roads, be sure to check the radar ahead of time and have a plan in case any warnings are issued. If you're in your home, find immediate shelter. 7:30 is when this expires, so you want to stay in that safe place through the end of this tornado warning and also through the end of the severe thunderstorm warning. Heavy rain has been a big thing that we've been seeing with these storms. Lightning as well. Hail is a possibility. So far, according to emergency management in Montgomery County, where this storm system originated, there have not been any damage reports. If any are issued, we will let you know about those. But we're continuing to track this area for the potential of a tornado. This is radar indicated. We don't have any reports that this has touched ground, but we do know that it's leading to heavy rain and gusty winds. Hail is a possibility. What we're watching is the spot around Burtonsville where we've got that bright green. That's where we could be seeing a little bit of rotation. Now that's going to move toward Laurel within the next 15 minutes, I'd say, for parts of Anne Arundel County, towards Severn, Lenox Park. You could be seeing the storm system in the next 15 to 20 minutes. The warning goes through 7:30, but even if you're not under a tornado warning, still take these storms seriously. Gusty winds is a threat. Hail is a threat. All types of severe weather are possible. And it looks like we're seeing the view from our storm tracker back to the roads now. That's Columbia, where they are dealing with some very heavy rain. Ponding is possible. A good reminder that if you do come to a road and it appears flooded, do not drive through it, especially as it gets darker in a couple more hours. It's really going to be hard to gauge just how deep that water is. So be sure that you are staying vigilant as we track this storm system. It's quickly moving toward the northeast, the east-northeast. Hail is possible, about ½ an inch in diameter if there is any hail falling. I'm trying to see if we're seeing anything up in the air, so not too much there, but still keeping watch on that velocity where we have that bright green. That's the area that we're tracking for that heavy rain. And going back to the reflectivity and what we're seeing on the radar, heavy rain is one of the biggest things. We've got some lightning there as well. You may not have that rotation if you're farther toward the end of this tornado warning or if you're under that severe thunderstorm warning, but the heavy rain, you are going to get that. The lightning, you will get that. If you live in a flood-prone or low-lying area, this heavy rain could quickly lead to high rain totals and flooding concerns. So be sure that you're taking that seriously. But for those under the tornado warning, be sure to find that safe place. A basement is the best place to go for a tornado warning. If you do not have a basement, you want to place as many walls between you and outside as possible. So an interior room such as a bathroom with no windows or a closet with no windows. That's where you want to go, and you want to stay there as long as this tornado warning is in place. This goes through about another 5 more minutes, but taking a look at when we expect some of those storms to move in, Laurel, then the North Laurel within the next 5 minutes. Quickly, those storms approaching Severn now. Odenton also dealing with some of that heavy rain. Hail is possible with this storm system. And zooming out once again, because we have several tornado warnings across the state, and it looks like another one just popped up. That is in Prince George's County. So that's another area we will be watching because it could move into Anne Arundel County. And taking a look on the roads, just gloomy, very rainy. Heavy rain is one of our biggest threats because it could lead to isolated flooding, but that tornado watch is in effect through midnight for a reason. We've got the chance of strong to severe storms and some more rotation through about midnight. After that point, the tornado watch will expire, but later tonight, still the chances there for a couple of stray showers and possibly some storms. But taking a larger look at what we're seeing, several tornado warnings across Maryland and into Virginia and West Virginia. Now, the one that we're focused on remains to be this one that includes Howard County, Anne Arundel County, and also Montgomery County. That's where we've been seeing radar indicated rotation. So we're tracking that spot of bright green that's expected to move toward the northeast at about 17 miles per hour. Another area with heavy rain moving to the east-northeast. So that's the general direction of these showers and storms. That second tornado warning could move into Anne Arundel County. Right now, it does include Prince George's County, so that's one that we are closely going to watch. But in the meantime, the tornado warning goes through about 3 more minutes. We'll have to watch and see if this is extended at all or if it expires, but we will guide you through this entire system and even through the rest of the night as we track these severe storms. We will keep you guided. Now, we should be getting additional info about this in a couple more minutes, but we've been tracking this system for the past about 30 minutes. This tornado warning has been in effect for Montgomery County, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, and it does run through 7:30. So still keeping watch on that system as it quickly moves in. So here's a look at what we've been seeing, those showers and storms. Some of them have shown rotation, but it's not just here where we've got that. Also tracking showers and storms down into southern Maryland, Virginia. West Virginia also has that tornado warning. And I want to take a larger look. Showers have moved out of West Virginia, but it was the same system that led to heavy rain. So that remains to be one of the greatest threats. Even if your area doesn't get under a tornado warning, heavy rain will be a threat. With how much rain we've seen over the past few days, there's certainly the possibility for some flooding in low-lying areas and flood-prone areas. It won't take much to knock down trees because they are waterlogged, and also because we also have that area. It looks like we now have a new tornado warning. That one also includes Howard County, and that goes through 8 p.m. So we're watching that area right around North Laurel. It's moving to the northeast around 17 miles per hour. So taking a look at what the National Weather Service is saying with that. Again, this is radar indicated. Pea-size hail is possible as we track this. This goes through 8 p.m. and we'll stay on air and guide you through the system. The one for Anne Arundel County goes through 7:30 p.m. and that should be expiring any moment unless it's continued, but we are keeping watch on that area right around, zoom in a little bit, right around Burtonsville. So showing you some of the reflectivity and where we've been watching. Around Burtonsville is where we could potentially be seeing some rotation. So far in Montgomery County, there haven't been any damage reports. This system originated right around Fairland and White Oak. So it now has moved toward Burtonsville. The storm's moving toward the north-northeast. We're continuing to watch for the potential of some rotation, and we'll have to see if this tornado warning, okay, it looks like the first tornado warning for Anne Arundel County has been canceled. That tornado watch does remain in place. And now the new tornado warning goes through 8 p.m. and that is for Howard County. Now it's from that system, it's from that same area that we've been watching in Montgomery County. So we expect those showers and storms to move into Howard County within the next few minutes. If you live in North Laurel, the system could pass you in the next 10 minutes. It's moving to the northeast around 17 miles per hour. You want to find your safe place if you are in this area in Howard County. So it includes North Laurel, Hillcrest Heights, Chase Eden, Arrowhead, Hawthorne, Elioke, Barrington Woods, Deep Run Park, Campbell, Aspenwood, Guilford Square. If you are within this polygon, make sure to find your safe place immediately. And that's where you want to be for the next 29 minutes while we still have this tornado warning in place.
And Jasmine, let me get a couple of tips for people who might be outside. And by the way, I do appreciate what you were saying about that polygon, that a lot of that is close to Route 29. Which runs through Howard County, as we know. That's a major artery for people who live and work in the DMV. Baltimoreans travel down 29 south to get into the DMV. People in the DMV travel 29 north to get up to the Baltimore area to work. So right now, we've got our tracker right now on 29 north. And I guess, is it Hannah going through Howard County right now? Is that Howard County, or it's in Howard County? So we can see, Jasmine, as you talked about, there's a lot of rain coming down, and we know when it comes down really heavily, the roads can pond and people can get into a position where they can't even see. So please be careful if you or a loved one is out on the roads. But let us give you some of these tips here. If you are out, and Jasmine is talking about being inside, but if you're outside, the worst place to be in a tornado is outside. But if you are stuck outside, it's important to know what to do next. You should get to a safe and sturdy building. If you can't make it into a building in time, you should lie flat and face down on the ground, protecting your head. Also, try to get as far away from any trees and cars as possible. And Jasmine, I know I've asked you this before. It's going to seem counterintuitive if it's clear you are in a tornado, and some people probably can tell, and it's imminent. they're going to want to stay in their cars, and you would tell us that's probably the worst place to be, correct?
That's the worst place to be because those strong winds can move a car, and it can move a car far. That's exactly where you don't want to be. So if you are on the roads and if somehow you do see any rotation or you see potentially a tornado where you are, you immediately want to get out of the car. And if there's a ditch that you can find, that's the place to be. You don't want to be under any tunnels. That's one of the worst places you can be because of it could kind of just be super windy and
like a vortex.
Yep, like a vortex, and that creates some danger there. So even if you don't have that rotation, gusty winds are very possible. Heavy rain remains a threat, and like you mentioned, Kai, there could be some ponding on the roadways. It actually looked like with some of those roads that we saw a little earlier, there might have already been some of that ponding. So make sure that you are driving safely. Again, this tornado warning goes through 8 p.m. We had severe weather just a couple weeks ago, and you remember the damage that led to. So be sure that you're taking these very seriously. This is mainly for parts of Howard County, and we've been watching a spot around Burtonsville where we had that rotation that we saw radar indicated. So it started off in Montgomery County, but we do expect those showers and storms and that area of rotation possibly to move into Howard County. If you do live in that spot, you want to make sure that you are finding your safe place immediately. The best place to be is a basement, but if you don't have that in interior rooms such as a bathroom or a closet, that is going to be your best bet. So trying to see that velocity again, we're keeping watch on that bright green area for some potential rotation, so just north of Burtonsville. Again, we've been keeping a close watch on the storm system. It moved in from White Oak and it's moved toward the northeast. So we expect to see the system continue to move toward the northeast. We've had several tornado warnings issued across parts of the region. So looks like a lot of those have expired for now, but we still have a couple across Maryland. We've got one area in Prince George's County and then a second area. That one goes through 8 p.m., but we're closely watching that because it could move into lower Anne Arundel County. Now, the latest one that we are keeping watch on is for Howard County and also parts of Montgomery County, where we've been seeing some radar indicated rotation. Going back to the reflectivity, heavy rain is still a threat that could lead to some ponding on the roads. You want to make sure that you are staying safe. If you live in a flood-prone area or a low-lying area, it's not going to take that much water to lead to flooding just because of how much we've seen over the past few days. So as we head into the next few hours, heavy rain will remain a threat. There is still the chance of some rotation that we could see within these storms. This is going through 8 p.m. However, the tornado watch does last until midnight, and that's for all of Maryland. We are all under that tornado watch. So through midnight, be sure that you have a plan and you have your safe place as we track the storms. But taking a look at some of the timing on when we could see those storms continue to progress across parts of our area. Elk Ridge, you're looking at the heavy rain and potentially the storm system in the next 23 minutes. Actually seeing some heavy rain now, but it is getting closer and closer to Baltimore City. Heavy rain will be a threat. If you don't have to be on the roads right now, it's a good idea to stay off of the roads just so that you're at a place where you can immediately go to a safe place that is indoors, a safe shelter. This tornado warning continues for Montgomery County and Howard County. It goes through about another 24 minutes, and we'll be guiding you through the entire system, keeping you up to date. And throughout the night, we'll keep a close watch on these storms as they move through. Taking a look at the roads now, and it looks like a little bit of traffic, still some heavy rain. I can't see where that is.
Let me see, Jasmine, if I can help you out. It says, I-95 north. So I-95 north. Yeah, so that's probably, if you're heading this way, you're in Howard County at this point, heading towards Baltimore. On the right side is Laurel. Okay, Laurel. So that would be Prince George's County, or it could be Howard County too, because Laurel stretches between Howard, Prince George's, and Laurel. Jasmine, let me get one quick picture up real quick, just for folks who will have a bit of a memory. This is La Plata, Jasmine, and that's going to probably just make some people have chills. But this is kind of a view of what someone saw in La Plata, and they posted this on X. Here, situated in La Plata, looks like a nasty storm as well as a tornado warning to the south. For those of you who remember your Maryland history, and I know Jasmine, of course, knows this, there was a very serious tornado in La Plata in 2002. It was deadly, sadly. 3 people were killed, 122 others were hurt, and it is one of the most severe tornadoes to ever hit the DMV region. And so, Jasmine, I know you're hoping that we don't have anything nearly that severe today. Hopefully we won't have any damage either. I know you're kind of talking about rotation, but hopefully we're not going to get those pictures in. We want to post them if they come in, but believe me, folks, this is not what we want to see. We don't want to see people hurt, and we don't want to see property damaged.
No, and that's exactly why we are on air right now, and why we stay on air through the entire warning, because we want to guide you through the system and make sure that you are staying safe so that nothing happens to you. You really want to find that safe place and take these warnings seriously. We had several downed trees and damage to homes with the tornadoes that moved across Baltimore City and Baltimore County just a couple weeks ago. So we know that there is possibility that these storms could lead to damage, even if it's not from a potential tornado. Wind gusts could lead to damage, especially with waterlogged trees. It's not going to take much water or wind to knock some of those down. With the threat of heavy rain after already receiving a lot of rain, there is the possibility of flooding, especially in low-lying and flood-prone areas. So if you are under any warning, you want to make sure that you are taking it seriously. Be sure to have multiple ways of receiving any alerts that are issued, just in case one method does not work. This tornado warning goes through 8 p.m. and it primarily includes Howard County. So zooming into some of those cities that are included: Elliott, Jeffers Hill, Barrington Woods, right on the edge of that tornado warning, Deep Run Park, Glen Oaks, Guilford Square, Arrowhead, Cedar Acres, North Laurel. All of you are under that tornado warning, and don't try to look for it. We've got some very heavy rain, and if we do have rotation, it could be rain wrap. Taking a look on the roads, and you really can't see anything.
No, you can't, Jasmine. Do you see this? So this is 29 South at 108. So 29 South, this is going to take you right into Columbia. You'd get off at Broken Land Parkway. But if you get off at 108 and head, let me reorientate myself, and head west, that would take you, 108 will take you into Clarksville, which is still Howard County, and then eventually into Montgomery County. But what I want people to pay attention to is, look on the right side of your screen. Look at the number of people, Jasmine, with their hazards on. And that's telling you, I'm sure, does this picture tell you, it looks like they probably can't see because the rain is coming down so heavily there.
Yep, very heavy rain there. If you don't have to be on the roads over the next few hours, it's a good idea to stay off the roads, because this isn't the only time that we're going to have the heavy rain threat. Throughout the night, more heavy rain is possible. We've got a flood watch in place through early tomorrow morning. Through that time, heavy rain possibilities, some flooding could be localized, especially for some flood-prone areas. But on the roadways, drive safely. That heavy rain will continue across parts of the state over the next several hours. That tornado watch goes through midnight across much of the Baltimore metro. But the area that we are still focused on for that tornado warning includes Howard County and down toward Montgomery County, where we actually saw it originate. We saw some of that radar indicated rotation in Montgomery County. So we've been tracking that same storm system. The warning could continue to get closer to the Baltimore area as we track that system, and the potential for some rotation, and that's coming from the National Weather Service. So again, with this system, it hasn't led to any damage reports so far, and the start of it was in Montgomery County. There have not been any damage reports, according to emergency managers there. So keeping track of the potential of rotation, we're watching that area of red close to the green. That's where we may see a little bit of rotation. The green and the red indicate objects moving toward and away from the radar, and that's how we know the potential is there for some rotation. But this goes through 8 p.m., about another 19 minutes, and we will guide you through this entire system, but it's going to keep moving toward the northeast. After it moves out of Montgomery County and Howard County, it's approaching the Baltimore metro, the Baltimore area. So again, you do want to make sure that you are staying alert as the storm system keeps moving toward the northeast. For Elk Ridge, about 20 more minutes where you could be dealing with the heaviest rain. Catonsville, another 24 minutes, and 26 for Arbutus.
Jasmine, of all the areas that you're seeing right now, and I've been listening to you, and because this thing is moving at a pretty good clip, right? Are you seeing any areas where there could be potential damage as this system has moved through?
I'd say if we're talking damage potentially from a tornado, it would likely be closer to Montgomery County, where we saw a little bit of tighter rotation with that system.
Right.
However, there could be damage simply from the wind gusts with this and also from the heavy rain. That heavy rain could lead to areas of flooding, but the heavy rain combined with the winds could result in some downed trees. Many of the trees are waterlogged because of the rain that we got earlier this week. So it's not going to take much to lead to downed trees. It won't take much to lead to flooding, especially over saturated soil. So you want to make sure that if you're under any kind of warning, that you're taking it seriously and finding that safe place to write it out while that warning is in place. So again, this goes through 8 p.m. That safe place could be a basement. That's the best place for a tornado warning. But if you don't have a basement, then you want to find an interior room away from windows, such as a bathroom or closet. The goal is to place as many walls between you and outside as possible. And again, taking a look at the roads, cars not moving too fast, but that's likely because of the rain. So there could be some traffic on the roads over the next couple hours as these showers and storms continue to impact parts of the Baltimore metro. And we've been keeping watch also on this area in Prince George's County because it has the potential to move toward Anne Arundel County. So taking a look at the timing of that system, it could eventually approach lower Anne Arundel County. See, it's in that polygon where we could see those storms move in. But a lot of Maryland has been dealing with this heavy rain, and parts of the region have been dealing with strong to severe storms, and several tornado warnings have been issued. The first in Virginia, but West Virginia down toward Richmond even had that tornado warning. So a severe round of storms currently across Maryland. This tornado warning goes through about 16 more minutes, but there is still that potential that it could be expanded to include more areas, and then it could continue for a longer time. But going back to the reflectivity and where we could be seeing some rotation, right here, right around Hillcrest Heights, that is, and Chase Eden, that's where we're looking at those red and green colors close together. The green indicates objects moving toward the radar. The red indicates objects moving away from the radar, and that gives us a good idea of where we may be seeing some rotation. So around Hillcrest Heights, Chase Eden, that's where we're seeing the potential of some rotation. But zooming out, we could also be seeing some rotation down into Rosaryville, and it looks like now that tornado warning has been extended, that one in Prince George's County. So now it does include part of Anne Arundel County. That goes through 8:15, and we will be guiding you through that system while it is still in effect. So that tornado warning goes through about 30 more minutes. The one over Howard County goes through about another 15 minutes. If you live in either of these spots, be sure that you are finding your safe place and taking these warnings seriously. The area that we're watching is around Rosaryville and Brookridge Manor, where we've got that red and green together. That's where we could be looking at some rotation. So that system is moving toward the northeast to kind of give you timing of it. If you live in Crofton, in the next 30 minutes, this storm system could impact you, giving you another view of that system. It's moving toward the northeast around 30 miles per hour. There could be some hail as well, gusty winds. Heavy rain has been one of the main concerns. So going back to what we've been seeing on the HD radar and with the reflectivity, very heavy rain. It's unlikely that if we do have rotation, you're going to see it because it would likely be rain wrap just from the heavy rain currently moving across parts of the state. So again, keeping watch on this area, we could see this extended to include parts of Baltimore County potentially if that rotation continues. We're watching right around Arrowhead and Chase Eden. We always look for those red and greens together. That's a good indication of rotation. So we've got two for our area currently in place, and the second one is for Anne Arundel County. This goes through 8:15 p.m. Even though the area of rotation is not there yet, there are already some pockets of heavy rain Trees have been waterlogged. We've already had a couple inches over the past few days. The ground is saturated, so with that heavy rain, there is the possibility of flooding in flood-prone and low-lying areas, especially if you are driving and you come to an area and it looks like it may be flooded, but you can't tell how deep. Turn around. It's so easy to misjudge the depth of water, especially as it gets later and as the sun sets and it becomes harder to see. So we're keeping watch on 2 areas currently. This is moving toward the northeast around 18 miles per hour. Hail is ½ an inch in size. We expect this to move into Anne Arundel County within the next 10 minutes or so. We're keeping close watch on some rotation there. And you'll notice what we're seeing is right around Rolling Glen Falls and right around where you've got that pink dot, that's where we're seeing possibly some rotation in that tornado warning for Prince George's County into Anne Arundel County. So if you're in Anne Arundel County, this includes Darnall, Almar Estates, Lothian, Castle Acres, Baynard, Cheston. You are all in this warning. So all of the areas in the polygon, you want to make sure that you are finding your safe place and staying there through 8:15 when this tornado warning expires. If it is extended beyond that, then stay in that safe place. But it's a good idea, even if you're not in an area with a tornado warning, that you're finding that safe place, because the watch goes through midnight and there's the chance that we could have a few more warnings issued through that point. One of the main threats has been heavy rain, and we have been seeing that especially in Howard County, where we've been tracking that potential rotation. Make sure that you are staying safe. If you have to be out on the roads later tonight, not necessarily now, but into the night, we've got a flood watch in place. You may notice some ponding on the roadways. Be sure to drive safely. Going back to some of that rotation, so we're watching that area right around Arrowhead. Those showers and storms will keep moving toward the northeast. They're moving at about 16 miles per hour. In Ellicott City, this is moving to you in about 20 minutes, 24 in Elkridge, 28 in Catonsville. So there is that potential that those areas could be included in that tornado watch if it is extended and expanded to include those spots. Meanwhile, in Prince George's and Anne Arundel County, we're watching that circulation just south of Upper Marlboro, where we've got that red and the green tightly together. That tornado warning goes into Anne Arundel County, and that runs through 8:15. So zooming out a little bit on the 2 areas that we're tracking, Howard County through 8 p.m. and also Anne Arundel County through 8:15. So about another 25 minutes for Anne Arundel County and another 10 minutes for Howard County. And checking along and to see a new tornado warning was issued, just checking to see that spot. So it looks like that is farther south in Charles County, but this has been a severe line. It's been leading to several tornado warnings across the area. We currently have 5 that are active right now. There could be more over the next few hours, so it's very important that you're taking these safely and staying weather alert.
Jasmine, look at this real quick if you can. I'm going to pull this up on X. Our team in the control room has pulled up this. It says Holy Cross Health Cancer Center. Holy Cross Hospital, by the way, is in Montgomery County. For anyone interested in that, if you want to know that, you can see it right off the Capitol Beltway. But look at this, somewhat of a funnel there. What do you glean from looking at that, Jasmine? And then here's another one. Someone took a picture here, which again shows somewhat of a funnel. Obviously, not nearly as low to the ground as this one is. What can you make of that?
Yeah, it's very, very possible that those were tornadoes and they may have touched the ground. So this tornado warning that we have for Howard County, it actually started off in Montgomery County from one area that we were watching, and we've seen that rotation move into Howard County. So it's possible that that system did rotate and produced a funnel, and it's possible that that funnel touch the ground. Now, the good news is that according to emergency management in Howard County or in Montgomery County, there have not been any damage reports. Now, we'll keep our eyes open for those across the region because that's not the only warning that's been issued. There have been several, including the one that is for Anne Arundel County that goes through 8:15. So that warning is in place for about another 24 minutes, 23 minutes. And that warning for Howard County goes through 8 p.m. However, we're still tracking those red and green colors together, indicating the chance of rotation, and it's possible that that could be extended to include parts of Baltimore County. Breaking down the timing of when we could see some of that heavy rain and potential rotation, about 21 minutes for Ellicott City, 25 minutes for Elk Ridge, and then Catonsville, about 28 minutes. So that system quickly moving it north to the northeast at about 16 miles per hour. And then that second area that we're watching, seeing that red and green together right around Brook Ridge, Manor. This is going to move into Anne Arundel County, which is under that tornado warning. So if you live in this polygon, in this red area, you want to make sure that you are finding your safe place immediately. Toward the end of that warning, Cheston is included, Bounty's View, McKendree, Pindle, Iron Pot Landing, Drury. You are all under this warning, and it goes through 8:15 p.m. So again, be sure that you are taking these warnings seriously as we continue to track them. Just giving you some of the timing again on when we could see not just the storms, but the heavy rain move across parts of the state. The system moving to the northeast about 18 miles per hour. Even if there is no rotation, there is heavy rain that could lead to flooding. There is also the chance of gusty winds and even hail. All types of severe weather are possible. This is going to be the case through the night. So this tornado watch goes through midnight. The tornado warnings go through 8 and 8:15, and it sounds like we can hear some heavy rain now over our station here in Baltimore. So I'm going to switch back to the reflectivity to kind of see what we're seeing right now on the radar. Yeah, so that heavy rain is now starting to move into Baltimore. What we're watching is this area right around Arrowhead for some potential rotation. We've got that red and green starting to move toward the edge of that polygon. So it's possible that we could have a new warning that does include parts of Baltimore County and maybe even Baltimore City. So fair warning, if you are in those areas, it's a good idea now to find that safe place of where you want to go to ride out these storms while the tornado warnings are in place. The area that we're watching in Prince George's County is right around Iron Pot Landing, just south of Upper Marlboro. We've got that red close with that green, indicating objects moving toward and away from the radar. Be sure to find your safe place as that system moves toward Anne Arundel County. So that goes through 8:15 p.m. If you live in Almer Estates, Cheston, Baynard, it's coming your way. You're probably already dealing with that heavy rain right now, so be sure to stay safe. And it looks like now we've got a new alert, not a warning, however, heavy rain. I've been mentioning the threat of flooding. We now have a flash flood warning, and that includes Laurel, Skaggsville, and Jessup, Maryland. So this blinking green box is for that flood watch. So I'm going to turn off this now, and yeah, we can hear the rain now, so it's really coming down. But if you are in this area in Howard County under that tornado warning, you really aren't going to be able to see any rotation because the system is likely rain wrapped.
Let me Jasmine, I'm going to run out to the door, get some video, and then send that to Hannah, our executive producer.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because what we're seeing is kind of the story across the Baltimore Metro. It's been a lot of heavy rain, not just that rotation, but the heavy rain that could lead to more flooding. Currently, we have that flash flood warning that's in place, and it does include Laurel and Jessup, and it goes into Howard County. So a lot of the areas that are already in this tornado warning and that have been in this warning are now under the flash flood warning, and that means that flooding is occurring. You want to make sure that you are taking these warnings seriously and staying safe as we continue to track them. Now, the tornado warning goes through 8 p.m., so about another 4 minutes for this first one. Again, if we continue to see some rotation as the system moves outside of that polygon or toward the edge of it, that warning will be extended. But we're also keeping watch on another area in Prince George's County, south of Upper Marlboro. The red and the green coupling indicates some rotation. That's going to move into Anne Arundel County. All of the spots in the red box need to immediately find shelter to stay safe from the system. Heavy rain a threat, gusty winds a threat. Don't try to look outside and see the rotation. You want to make sure that you are staying safe. So here's a good safety checklist. Make sure that you are away from windows. You want to be in an interior room like a basement or somewhere without windows like a closet or a bathroom. The goal is to place as many walls between you and outside as possible. And you want to stay in that safe place through the entirety of this storm. So for Anne Arundel County, 8:15, that's when that goes into place. Make sure that you are staying safe as we continue to track these storms. Heavy rain has been falling, especially across this green and black polygon. That blinking polygon is for a flash flood warning. Flooding is occurring in that area. That will continue to be a threat into the night again. Our flood watch goes into place through early tomorrow morning. Flooding through that point is a possibility. So we're keeping watch if you're just joining on two areas. The first is where you see that red box over Howard County. That's the first tornado warning, and that expires in a couple minutes. We were watching some rotation that started off in Montgomery County and moved into Howard County. Still seeing some red and green tight together. With this, we've also been tracking some heavy rain. You'll notice that on the H3 radar, especially around Guilford Square. That has led to a flash flood warning. Now we're also tracking a second tornado warning, and that goes for part of Prince George's County into Anne Arundel County, where there's also heavy rain. Make sure that you are finding that safe place and staying there until this warning expires. The system is moving to the east-northeast around 20 miles per hour. There could be quarter-sized hail or three-quarter-sized hail with this. Also moving toward Anne Arundel County. So again, it's mainly lower Anne Arundel County for the second area, but it's one that we have been watching. So going back to the reflectivity and kind of what we've been seeing, this is a look south of Upper Marlboro, so around Iron Pot Landing. The green and the red together indicate the potential of some rotation. So that's what we could be seeing, and it is on the way to Anne Arundel County. All of the cities within this polygon want to make sure that you are going to your safe place and staying there through the entirety of this system. Now looking at the roads, still very rainy. That's going to be the case over the next several hours. Lots of heavy rain in the forecast. If you don't have to be on the roads, don't, just because there is such a great threat of ponding from the heavy rain. We already have that flash flood warning in place for part of Howard County, along with that tornado warning. So that should be expiring in the next minute unless it is extended. But we're keeping watch on a couple areas across the Baltimore metro for those tornado warnings. But really around the region, this has been a significant weather maker. Also, once we head into the next few hours, heavy rain, gusty winds, hail, isolated tornadoes, still a threat. Be sure that you are taking the system seriously and finding that safe place. So we should be seeing that tornado warning for Howard County expire any minute now. The one in Anne Arundel County, though, is still in place for another 15 minutes. So there we go. That one has now expired. And you'll also notice the tornado watch was just trimmed back, so it no longer includes Western Maryland, West Virginia, or parts of Virginia. So after this initial round, I think that's a good sign that we could see some of those warnings expire. But in the meantime, we've got another 15 minutes as we track this system around Upper Marlboro and around Iron Pot Landing. So the red and the green together, that's the spot that we're watching for potential rotation. All of the spots in this red polygon are under a tornado warning, and it includes part of southern Anne Arundel County. If you are there, you want to make sure to find your safe place and stay there through the end of these storms. Be sure also that you have multiple ways of receiving any alerts over the next several hours, just in case one method does not work. So keeping a close watch on this area, Cheston, Baynard, Lothian, Almar Estates, Bounties View. If you are in these areas, Bristol, Pindle, find your safe place immediately and stay there at least for the next 14 minutes while this warning is in place. So that warning behind it, that was for Prince George's County, that one has also expired. But keeping watch on several areas, and just south of La Plata, it looks like they're really seeing some rotation there. So several areas have been dealing with these strong and severe storms and even that rotation. So reminder, that blinking box where we did have the tornado warning over Howard County, that tornado warning has expired, but now you'll notice that blinking box, and that actually indicates a flash flood warning, and that means that flooding is occurring. If you have to be on the roadways, especially in that area, you're gonna come to roads that are flooded, be sure that you turn around and you don't try to drive through those roads, especially since as it gets darker, it's really going to be hard to see just how deep that water is. So taking a look at some other alerts coming in, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for Frederick and Hagerstown. So that's that area there. No tornado warnings associated with that, but still keeping close watch on the radar as we track these showers and storms. Just taking a larger look at things, it's been a messy evening with those showers and storms moving across the state. Now that line from Hagerstown down toward Gaithersburg, that did lead to some severe weather and some rotation in parts of Virginia. Not seeing that now. We're mainly focused on the areas from Severn down into Annapolis. The current tornado warning that we're tracking is for Anne Arundel County. That goes for another 12 minutes. Heavy rain is still one of the primary concerns. We've seen with the flash flood warning what the heavy rain can do. It can lead to that imminent flooding. It could lead to some ponding. We already had a couple inches of rain over the past several days. The ground is saturated. It's not going to take that much for it to flood. Not only that, but trees are very waterlogged. So with the rain and the combination of gusty winds, there is that possibility of some downed trees as well. You want to stay away from trees. If you are in a home that is near trees, be sure that you are finding an interior room away from any windows and try to place as many walls between you and outside as possible. And over our station, we can really hear the heavy rain coming down right now. So right over Baltimore dealing with that. But where we have that flash flood warning, I want to kind of take it back a little bit. The heavy rain has been falling for over half an hour, and it's been that same location. And so it's really easy to see that flooding when you have that heavy rain, especially over that long period of time. So we now have a severe thunderstorm warning for part of Anne Arundel County. That includes Annapolis, Severna Park, and it also includes some spots that are under that tornado warning. Again, the tornado warning goes through 8:15, 8:30 for that severe thunderstorm warning. Even if you're not under a tornado warning, if you are under that severe thunderstorm warning, be sure that you are finding shelter. Heavy rain is a big threat along with gusty winds. Hail cannot be ruled out.
Jasmine, can you see this picture real quick? This is right outside of the station. So I know you can hear it. I can hear it. That deluge came back. We got a first round, everyone, and then a second round of rain came back. Jasmine was just talking about it because she's watching this system roll through. And you can see the rain is usually, when we get those bad storms, it usually rains pretty heavily around here. And this, to me, I think underscores what Jasmine has been telling you guys all night. Don't be lulled into this sense of security because the tornado warnings or watches are over. If you're still under a thunderstorm warning, if there's still a flood warning, you could be in a serious danger. So don't get lulled into a sense of security. You could be in a serious situation. Jasmine, this is some safety tips we're going to give you. I want to ask you, tonight, listening to you, how quickly was this system moving through? Because it does seem like it was moving at a pretty good clip.
Yeah, so the first warning for our area was, I believe, right before 7. So around 6:55, we had that warning.
And you and I have been on the air for like an hour and 5 minutes now, right?
Like an hour, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we've been tracking the heavy rain moving across the state in addition to those tornado warnings. But that's a good point, because for an hour and 10 minutes, not only have we been tracking those warnings in different spots, but we've been tracking that consistent heavy rain. And that heavy rain did lead to flooding, a flash flood warning for part of Howard County. And that's exactly what we expect with this heavy rain. So now, seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings across parts of the area. That includes Anne Arundel County. That goes through 8:30. Also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Frederick through 8:30, but still keeping close watch on this tornado warning. That is in place for about another 9 minutes. We were tracking some rotation just south of Upper Marlboro and taking a look, and we're still seeing it. So right around Drury, where you have that green and that red, that could indicate some rotation. It's radar indicated. So we don't have any reports yet of anything touching ground, but it does not matter. You still want to find that safe place and make sure that you are taking these warnings seriously. We just had severe weather a couple weeks ago, and that led to a ton of damage. this has the potential to lead to damage as well. So make sure that you are taking the warning seriously. Be sure to have multiple ways of receiving alerts, because even after this tornado warning expires, there's still the threat of heavy rain. There's the threat of flooding, damaging wind gusts. Those are all threats that we could have with this system. So you really want to make sure that you are keeping close watch on the radar and staying alert over the next few hours. Our tornado watch goes through midnight. The flood watch goes into early tomorrow morning. So that's something we're keeping in mind. And back with that severe thunderstorm warning, wind gust could be up to 60 miles per hour. That in combination with heavy rain could easily lead to downed trees. So it's very important that you are finding a safe place. If you don't have to be on the roads, don't over the next few hours, because the threats are still going to be there. The threats of heavy rain, damaging wind gusts, isolated tornadoes, and even hail. All types of severe weather are possible. Again, rotation continues to be a concern with some of these areas, but also heavy rain, another threat. We've already seen flooding from that. We've been tracking these showers and storms move across the Baltimore metro for the past about hour and 10 minutes, and it's been leading to heavy rain. So not very fast for those systems that are leading to that heavy rain. But taking a look at what we're seeing, lots of red indicating that heavy rain, reds and yellows. A few areas only with light rain, but still be sure that you are staying safe as we continue to monitor these systems. We've got about 7 more minutes for this tornado warning in Anne Arundel County. We are going to keep watching that. We could be seeing some rotation close to Drury. We always look for that red and green coupling to indicate where we might have rotation. The green shows us what's moving toward the radar. The red shows us what's moving away. And when we have those two areas close together, that's a good indication that we're seeing some rotation. Now, it doesn't mean that it's touched the ground. This is radar indicated as of now, but we will keep on watching these spots for that potential rotation as it moves into further into Anne Arundel County. So that warning goes through 8:15 p.m. Even though other parts, including Annapolis, not under that warning, there is still the threat of heavy rain, damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Even hail cannot be ruled out. That heavy rain has already led to flash flooding in Howard County. That goes through 11 p.m. So Laurel and Jessup included in that, North Laurel, Arrowhead, you are all under this flash flood warning, and that means that flooding is occurring. It's expected, especially with the heavy rain that moved through with that tornado warning. Now, we're still keeping watch in Anne Arundel County, where we've got a tornado warning and also a severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning goes through 8:15. The severe thunderstorm warning goes through 8:30. Now, we'll be with you through the entirety of this tornado warning, and if any more are issued across the Baltimore metro, of course, we'll keep you up to date and guide you through those systems. But again, looking back at the reflectivity, it's been a very messy past hour with that heavy rain and also with those potential tornado warnings. We had a couple pictures come in from Montgomery County, and it looked like potentially a funnel. That's the one that led to the warning in Howard County, where we also had that heavy rain. So over the next few hours, heavy rain is still a threat. It's one of the biggest threats. You'll notice that our flood watch goes through 6 in the morning. The tornado watch goes through midnight. Let me see if we have any updates.
And Jasmine, let me do a round robin real quick before you get updated here. I want to show our viewers just how widespread this system has been that you're talking about. This is, well, before I do there, let's go to Virginia. This is near Harrisonburg, Virginia. So we're talking about the Virginia Tech area, right? Huge cloud there. Look over here. This is La Plata. So that's southern Maryland, a huge cloud there. Let's move around a little bit more. This is Washington, D.C. Jasmine talked about this system moving to the northeast, Jasmine, a huge cloud there. Moving up further, here we go. This is also in the Maryland area. And this is the other one I wanted to show here. This is Montgomery County. This is Holy Cross Health Cancer Center. That's in Montgomery County, kind of near like the Silver Spring area of Montgomery County. So this system was widespread, and as people sent pictures in, or posted them, I should say, on X, we were seeing the same thing, Jasmine, time and time again. Huge wall clouds, and in some cases, a bit of a funnel I can't say rotation, but definitely in terms of the still pictures, a little bit of a funnel, and some even appeared to have some rotation.
It's very possible, looking at the HD radar and looking at velocities, some of those areas look to have kind of a tight rotation for this part of the country. And so it's possible that we did have that rotation. It looked that way toward Upper Marlboro, and that was for Prince George's County, now into Anne Arundel County, where we still have that tornado warning in place through 8:15. So we're keeping close watch on that. It looks like the rotation's becoming a little bit looser. That's a good sign. Potentially that this will not be extended, but if it is extended into more of Anne Arundel County, we'll keep you up to date on that. But in the meantime, Anne Arundel County under a severe thunderstorm warning. So that includes Cheston, which is also under that tornado warning, Ashley, Selby on the Bay, Anchorage, Annapolis, Arnold, Severna Park, Lakeshore, all under that severe thunderstorm warning through 8:30 p.m. And even if you're not under the tornado warning, even if you are just under the severe thunderstorm warning, it's still very important that you find your safe place. You'd want to be away from windows, so an interior room is the best bet. Gusty winds, wind gust up to 60 miles per hour possible. Hail, another possibility with this system. So again, we are keeping close watch on these areas. Tornado warning remains in place through 8:15. We'll have to see if they continue to extend that area, but that's one spot that we've been closely watching. Kind of zooming out a little bit, a ton of alerts have been issued, especially in southern Maryland and into Virginia, where tornado warnings are still in place. The one over Howard County expired, but instead there is now a flash flood warning, and that means that flash flooding is occurring. If you have to be on the roads, you could be driving through some ponding. It's actually likely with the heavy rain moving across the region. You want to be sure that you're driving safely, but if you come to a road and it looks like it's flooded, turn around. It's going to get dark soon, and that's going to make it very hard to gauge just how deep the water is. So be sure that you are finding that safe place. If you are indoors, if you're on the roads, be sure to drive safely and have a plan if a warning is issued for where you are. This tornado warning goes through about 1 more minute. We'll have to keep watch to see if any more warnings are issued with this system, but the threat remains into the next few hours. Heavy rain, that could lead to flash flooding, as we are seeing in Howard County. Oh, looks like we've got another flash flood warning in place. So this now includes Baltimore City. Flooding is occurring in this area. Heavy rain has been moving over the area for the past couple hours, or the past hour or so. So it's not surprising, and we know that in parts of Baltimore City, it does not take a lot of rain to lead to flooding. So let me see if I can see just how much rain we've seen over the past couple hours. And I think this really tells the picture of some of that heavy rain, especially in Laurel. So with that, about 2.4 inches, and this is the 3-hour estimate, but we know when that warning was issued and that heavy rain moved in, that was about an hour and 20 minutes ago. So in just an hour and 20 minutes, over 2 inches of rain in parts of Howard County. Now that flash flood warning also includes Baltimore County, about ½ an inch. That was just issued, but the heavy rain is currently falling, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. We've got the flash flood threat through 11:15. That's when the warning expires, and it looks like our tornado warning has now expired for Anne Arundel County, so that's some good news now. Let me check and see if any warnings will be issued. So far, no pending warnings from the National Weather Service. That's good news, but we will make sure to hop back on air if any other warnings are issued. We want to make sure that you are staying safe. Again, the flash flood warning is in place for parts of Baltimore City and even Baltimore County, and even Howard County, where we've had over 2 inches of rain in under an hour and a half. So we're going to stay on for a couple more minutes just to be on the safe side, just in case anything's issued. But right now, keeping watch on a few areas. A severe thunderstorm warning in place for Prince George's County into Anne Arundel County. That's where we could see some heavy rain and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Also, the possibility of some hail with this system. Now, Annapolis, if you live in that area, you know that it does not take that much to flood, especially around Main Street. So you want to make sure that you are staying safe and moving to not a low-level place, because you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself. But tracking these storms, Parole 17 minutes, where you could see some more heavy rain. Annapolis about 20 minutes. This is moving to the east-northeast around 24 miles per hour. Hail is about ½ an inch in diameter. So that's one spot that we're watching. Those showers and storms continue to move toward the east-northeast, and then keeping watch on this heavy rain moving over Baltimore and over Howard County. I want to show you again a radar estimate of how much rain we've seen over these spots. So for parts of Laurel, 1 to 2 inches, and that heavy rain quickly moving into Baltimore. So again, heavy rain continues to be a big threat. Tornado warnings have now all cleared, so we are going to send you back to your regularly scheduled programming. But if any more warnings pop up, we'll make sure to guide you through those. And of course, we'll be here into the night, guiding you through these storms and making sure that you have a safe weekend.
Jasmine, thank you. Great job, as you always do. Catch your breath and please get some water, because I know your breath is tired. Please stay with Fox 45 News. As Jasmine said, we will have a complete update for you tonight after the game, so don't go anywhere. Stay up to date with the Fox 45 News app. If you don't have it, download it. It's free. And stay alert. Weather systems are still out there. Be careful of any flooding out there. We'll see you later for Fox 45 News.